What's up, Snipe?
Hey, healthy. What's up, man? Yeah, I was just trying to total up the amount of hours that we've done so far. We're almost like right around 59, 60 hours right now. This is our ninth show, I think.
Wow. Wow. That's a
Not
lot
all.
of
I mean, like,
hours.
there's two of them. I mean, most of them are like 7:30. I don't know. So, there's, I guess, about 5 hours that we trimmed off to just make it an easier reset, for the next. But it's been running continuous for fucking a long time, man.
So what are you saying? Instead of having it 8 hours, we're doing 5 hours now? Every five?
No, no, no. We were doing like everything's about like in the 7 hour ones. It's about like 7:30 to close to 8 hours, and there's like just only two that were cut short so that it would just make it easier to rest or whatever, just so that there wasn't
Yeah.
any dead space or anything. Crazy, man. Yeah. We've actually, I think, populated most. Like, I mean, I know that there's big dead spots, but Andre, since those chats had huge dead spots. I don't know if we have like such big dead spots.
Well,
No.
yeah, there are dead spots, but I mean, it's only because everybody's sleeping around those times.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Hey, hang on a second. I got a call.
yeah, fine. So, hello everybody. Where's the? Gotta get to the actual chat. That is getting a little tired. I'm not gonna be on for too much longer anyway.
Hey, what's up, Ira? It's such a busy day here for me today. What's up, guys? You all there?
Hey, what's up?
I'm here.
Hey, what's up, moderator?
Just looking at the video I knew I kind of ruined since this morning because I was so tired and nobody was around and I was just playing videos and I got like actually I got like 7 copyright strikes. So I need to edit that whole like first 3 hours out of it. So I'm gonna do that right now.
Oh wow.
Some crazy
So,
stuff.
Yeah,
so we
pretty.
had actually we
It's like a
like
bad.
even had. Sorry.
No, it's just like a really bad warning because if I get another one, then I won't be able to have 8-hour hangouts anymore on the channel. So I need to fix it. You need to also be careful with any kind of streaming, any music and videos that might be like HBO or whatever. Even if they say it's free, it might not be because I played a lot of music that said it was royalty free, and it wasn't. So
Hmm.
yeah, a whole bunch of music.
Music's a tough one. Maybe we should just make our own music because it's like not
I
that
know you
hard to
guys are
do.
super talented and have all your own music, so bring it. Play your stuff if it gets dead.
I
Maybe
think
you can
there's
have like in the chat, just put links to videos to you guys' music and stuff.
yeah. I was looking at something like there's some kind of app where you can it's made for Hangouts and you can I guess post your own music and just play it right through.
Yeah, I added the YouTube app in here. I don't know if you can see on the left hand side.
Hmm.
There's this YouTube app, and it like lets you add videos to it to play the playlist. I couldn't get it to work last night, but
Yeah.
maybe tonight. I don't know. I don't know if you guys see it when I open it. You'll have to let me know because I see it on the back of the Hangout window.
Could
But
you try it one more time? Or there was like a little notice that went over your.
it might be installing on your Hangout.
Okay. And which one were you talking about?
It's just a YouTube app
Okay.
inside the Hangout.
Uh,
And you can add videos to a play. I don't know how to use it yet. Seems
You
like
gotta be on the computer, I think, right?
yeah. Here, I'll screen share real quick so you can see what it looks like on my side. Do you see that?
Yeah, it works pretty well. I used it before.
I tried using it last night, but it would say it was playing a video and it like actually wasn't. So not really sure.
People have to go into it from the computer and they will see the playlist that whoever added. Yeah. I mean, whoever is in the Hangout, the only people in the Hangout
Right, right.
and on the computer. So
now, how do you know if these are good to play? Like, or is it okay to play without
It doesn't
volume or
matter
something?
if not your video. I don't know how to make this go away now. I was just testing it anyway. Oh, there we go. So then the videos stay here in the playlist, and we could just queue them up and play them, I guess, whenever we need them. So I don't know if I only have control of that or if you guys see it also. So I'm going to stop screen sharing now and take care of this with the video problem I created.
Yeah, people in the Hangout can control the playlist that you create and play them or pause them or click the other ones. Yeah.
Okay,
Has
good.
to be on the computer.
Right.
Yep. But if you're on the phone, you can see the videos, of course, from whoever is um playing them or sharing them. Yeah.
You can tell it's late. We're talking real quiet.
Yes. I'm pretty loud, but at this time I cannot be too loud.
Yeah.
But hey, you guys, everybody, have a good night or day. I'll join later. I'm gonna do a few things.
Hey, hey, Truth. Have a good night, and don't take anything to heart. We all have some healthy conversations sometimes, a little bit heated debates and whatnot. I hope we can look past all that.
Oh yeah, bro, don't worry about it. I wasn't thinking about it anymore. But yeah, you cool. Everybody's cool. I'm cool with all of you. It's all good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
actually,
Thank you.
I wasn't talking about myself. I'm just saying in general because
Uh-huh.
of last 24 hours, it's just been crazy. Anyway, have a good night.
Yeah, I know it's been a pretty cool some pretty cool sessions in the Hangouts. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Thanks, guys. Good night, Truth.
thank you too. Thank you. Later.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Hey, moderator, have you found somebody to do this, to share the hours with you yet for the
No,
hangout?
nobody. I mean, well, you guys are all helping because you're talking on the show, but nobody's said they were interested in becoming like a moderator with the channel. And I don't know what happened to David Quintana. He totally disappeared.
So let me ask you this: what we do is we log into FE Public Access, and that's it, right? And just leave it on.
Yeah, and I have it set ready so you just click create live event, and then when you're ready to share the links, you can do that and pull people in, and then you just have to add the link to the description, the
Oh,
join link,
okay.
I mean.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So it's actually pretty automated already. Like I got it, at least that part to do easier, so I wasn't cutting and pasting all the description and all that crap, and I'm not even messing with the title. People can see when the session ended. I'm not gonna be putting all this cryptic stuff in the title like Andrea was doing.
All the different languages. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
No, like the start time and the stop time with the date and central time and with the link in the title. Like it was just too clunky.
Oh, and who all participated and stuff?
Right, like all that, it's whatever. People can do it in the comments if they want. I used to do that for a bit long videos. If I skipped ahead
Ah,
and I liked the part, I would put the time marker in the comments. It's public access.
whatever.
Everyone can see.
Did you ever talk to Andrea?
Not physically, like voice to voice, like the way we were talking, just through email.
Yeah, like voice to voice.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so you've taken over his pet project, and you don't know if he's coming back, huh?
Mm-mm. Probably not. And this is still my channel anyway, so he can do whatever he wants with his channel when he gets back, and I'll just keep doing this.
Alrighty then. Sounds like a plan. But I do think he might need some help to keep this going
Oh, yeah.
24/7.
Well, I'm definitely going to, because I mean, there's already days coming up where I'm going to have to leave, because I do live in the middle of nowhere, so I occasionally have to drive out of this mountain, and it's always like a whole day trip, you know. And sometimes I just stay at a friend's house for the weekend, so you were telling me
Have
about
you?
that remote app and stuff, so I might, if nobody helps, you know, I might have to just do it that way, or it's just going to go dead.
No, you're still gonna have to need that. You still need that app regardless. It's called Chrome Remote Desktop, and it's really nice for just controlling your computer when you're not there. So even if you don't use it for this purpose, you'll still want to use it for other purposes if you kept your computer on.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I never really have a need to access my computer when I'm not here. Important files I put on a cloud drive.
I wonder though. I think sometimes I feel like LSC just loves the attention that we give him.
Um, Probably yes and probably no. I mean, nobody likes negative attention. I mean, even though the narcissist dislikes any kind of attention, but
Yeah, I did LCS. Ira kept talking over me. Yeah, but the thing about LCS, I noticed that I've seen so many people talk shit about him. But at the end of the day, he does make up with them, and there is like no hard feelings. It seems that way.
I don't know. I mean, I've had like back and forths with him, but I've never been really like just hateful or outwardly rude, you know. But I also don't subscribe to his whatever he's selling, so I just keep him at arm's
Well,
length.
you see, that's the thing with knowledge, and truth. You can't base truth on the person's personality. If somebody says something and you investigate for yourself, you come to your own conclusions without considering who originated that information. And if it's false, then you can make the claim that it's false. So I mean, I try not to go into the whole issue with the God thing. I mean, I can't believe that. That's just the way it is. I have my own faith.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, Stephen, I was talking about Omni. Snack is giving his lips a break, or his tongue a break.
Yeah.
He's soaking it in some, I don't know, some sort of solution, maybe some coffee.
I was thinking of a different kind of solution, but I'll just keep that to myself.
Oh, wow.
Why can't I? You know what? I don't like Chrome. I mean, I do, I guess, but it seems to be so much easier to add an add-on, to Firefox. And like for the life of me, I can't find just a simple video downloader for YouTube on Chrome. Okay, like give me something.
Huh. I thought I used to use one that allowed me to download the videos. Well, let me check if I can find it. Or it could have been Internet Download Manager or something on the side. Yeah, I'm not a very big fan of Chrome, but it just makes a lot of things easy, because I've got 2 accounts, so it helps me change between the accounts, and it also saves all my bookmarks. So that's why I like it.
Yeah. Let's see, here's a video downloader. Maybe this will work. Vimeo? No, I want it for YouTube.
Doing these videos, you're missing out on all the other people's videos, aren't
I
you,
know.
Yvette?
Well, I didn't really watch people's videos anymore anyway, but I'm not watching the videos I normally would watch, like my news, my news stream, because I like to keep up on what's going on in the world. And those are the ones I'm not getting to watch.
Yeah, I'm with you on that page. But honestly, to be very frank, I kind of stopped watching the Flat Earther videos a while back when I decided that, hey, I don't see any new information. It's
Yeah.
just old repeat.
Yep. I pretty much stopped since December. I mean, like I'll watch them if people send them my way, but I haven't been like blown away. Like, oh wow, that's new. And more than anything, it seems like all the old ones are getting redacted from my credibility list. So, which is fine with me, like if I have to create a list and then slowly knock them off one by one, that's easy too. I mean, it's just easier to whittle down like what you consider.
What list are you talking about? I'm sorry, I missed that. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, I was just saying like it seems like all the videos that I really liked are getting kind of knocked out of the water right now, just like one by one. And I'm starting to see things like, yeah, that's really kind of bunk, like that's a really stupid
So
claim to have been making. And so I'm just like, I had my list, and then I'm knocking them off.
yeah, you're having your epiphanies or whatever.
Well,
Right?
it's just it's just like a documentary. No matter what documentary you watch, at the end of it, you're gonna be all on board with whatever they were presenting to you, right? Like no matter what it is.
Yeah, I see what you're
You're a
saying.
meat eater, you'll be against meat if it's about the food industry, But then life goes back to normal, and then you have time to process it, and put like your own emotions and thought back into it, and like get out their narrative, which is like huge for me because like people don't understand how important it is to like take in information, but then leave it at the door and like don't let it into your house until you're ready to accept what's good.
Yeah, exactly,
Because
exactly.
people, yeah, because people are too quick to accept the framing, And when people put a box on information for you, then you'll never be able to see past that box ever. And you won't see like how huge the colorful picture is, how big the story is, because all they
Right?
gave
Why would you limit
you
yourself? That's one of
right,
the things that I don't like.
right. Like all this bogus stuff that's happening with me. People, oh, somebody said this and this, and like, oh yeah, you could see it that way, and it's probably true in that frame, but it's also true in this other context, and it just makes more sense that way. and you'll probably feel really stupid now for thinking the box way. But you know, I don't
So
really care.
so let me
Hmm?
say, let me make this. Maybe you'll agree with me on this one. So you know, a lot of people say that, oh, you know, when I realized the Earth is flat, that was my most exciting moment, or this feeling of, like, you know, becoming free. Um, that's when, you know, I figured out the Earth was flat. But I think the narrative is kind of, you know, kind of bunk in itself. I think you felt, or at least I felt great when I figured out that we're not living on a spinning giant ball. Okay, that was the epiphany I had, and that was the most intense emotional effect that had on me, was when I figured out that, hey, this is all a lie. Okay, that's when I had my little emotional roller coaster, if you will. But you know, in terms of siding with one of the models, after I figured that out, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take my time. I'm not gonna subscribe to anything right away. I'll
Exactly.
see what all the available options are. I'm gonna research all this stuff. You know, I'm not gonna close myself up in a box. I want to see what everyone has to say. You know,
Exactly.
not just Mark Sargent, not just Snack, not just Steve. You know, I mean, I'm just naming all the big fellows from the big models out there. So that's all I have to say. Is, like, you know, show me the proofs. You know, show me your datas, and that's all I'm doing. Just researching.
Right, and it seems like for me, like the longer time goes by, the more I hear people just repeating dogmatic, cliche statements, and it makes me cringe so hard. You know, like I'm just like, please, just stop talking. You know, like it's so cringeworthy. It's not even funny. You know,
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
Excuse me for just a moment. Okay, I have a customer here.
Yeah, it's like for me, it's like when people like whatever you want to call them, the blower trolls. You know, when they present you with a question. You know, it's like just admit you don't know the answer. Don't start just repeating back what you heard in a video because you sound ridiculous. I mean, anybody would when you just start repeating sayings back. It's like you might as well be in church. It's like this is the name of the Lord, amen. You know, it's like it's just a reaction. You're just gonna repeat the script, and it's like, do you even know why you said that or what's behind that? And I think that's more important. You know, just say, I honestly don't know. Why don't you tell me? You know. Maybe it'll make sense finally instead of just accepting hokum from an unverified, uncredible uh, information source. You know, it's like anybody on the news or anybody telling you stuff that you don't want to hear or stuff that you know sounds ridiculous immediately. It's like, why wouldn't you look into it? You know, for any other reason, is just to simply not repeat the same model we're trying to get out of, which is the indoctrination to a small, very small worldview and not letting you stray or ask questions or or counter someone's opinion, without being outed, just tossed aside. It's like, I'm sorry, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, but truth isn't for people to snuggle up with and make them comfortable. Truth usually hurts. Truth can be shocking. I got called mean, like,
Truth
okay,
is
I'm
never
sorry.
popular.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry you think I'm mean, but I'm just being honest with you, and I'm presenting what your own words to you, and people don't like that. They, yeah, I've been called a multitude of things, even from people I thought, were my friends, like, oh, you're such a bitch, Yvette. Like, well, that's all fine and dandy, but you're making it personal when I'm still pointing out the flaws in your argument. So how about we stick to that,
Uh-huh. And one of the things I kind of found out about the Globers that come to this chat, or any chats, the FE related chats, they come and they spew their stuff, which is pretty much, rhetoric that you can go on Wikipedia and find it yourself. So I really find it weird that they'd come over and start, spreading their gospel when it's, freely available on Wikipedia and everywhere else. All you gotta do is just do a search on it. I think this is why we don't have that many Glober trolls anymore. I mean, just a couple, one or two.
What I appreciate about it though, it's like because it's like when I'm talking, it's like Spaceman this morning. Oh, what a cantankerous, salty fucker. He I mean, he was just like, "Oh, you're just, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you think you know computers? Well, I'm going to test you, and you're going to answer my questions." I'm like, no, I'm actually not going to answer anything you ask me because, for one, questions are always manipulative, and again, it's all about framing. And once they frame your world for you and your questions and answer can only fall within that box, then they're playing God, and I don't like that. Like, no.
Yeah, there's only one person we're going to let
it's like I got my
pass,
degree.
and that's only Steve.
Yeah.
Only Steve can play God.
But it's stupid.
Spaceman can play Spaceman. That's the character he was born into.
Right, but my point is like, people want you to never be wrong, and I'm completely fine with being wrong. It's the people who can never be wrong that I'm scrutinizing the hardest, because if they can never be wrong, they've already told you the limit of their knowledge, right? They're never going to accept anything new. They're never going to grow. They're never going to admit to anything, and then, no light bulbs are going to go off for them anymore. They're just like, blah, blah, blah.
Right,
all you have to do is look it up on Google. Well, no, you know what? I'm having a conversation with you. So if you don't have the information to present to me, then just say so, and then let's philosophize about it. I'm not going to be that one of those people who is like, hold on, Googling shit on my phone every freaking 2 minutes. I mean, because that's not genuine, that's not, like, honest. It's like, just talk to people.
Right.
And
basically, that's not sharing what you know.
Right, and it's like, solve it for yourself in your head, and like, why don't, like, just pause and think about it, and then tell me what you think. And I'm not going to tell you if you're right or wrong. Who am I to tell someone that they're right or wrong, that their thought that they just gave me was right or wrong? That's ridiculous, And so, but I always laugh when people want to, like, test your knowledge, and they, like, start listing questions for you, and to me, I'm like, well, actually, all you just did was show me the limit of your knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if that's what you came up with to ask me, like, that's such a, like, literally, like, high school 9th grade level. And, I have my degree, a college degree. So I just scoff and laugh and I walk away, because it's not only insulting, but I've already seen what they're going to present, It's not like they're like, here, help me solve this theorem, or let's prove this equation. No, it's like, solve this algebra problem? Give me a fucking break, Not that too many people do that, I'm talking strictly Spaceman, but there are other people out there who have done that to me. Because they think, all flat earthers must be stupid, and it's like, I don't reject math and science. I am math and science. I've lived math and science my entire life. So, it means a lot to me, and I'm not one of those people who's just going to be like, it's a hoax, because I know it's not, because I've done the work behind it, and that's not to say I was
sorry to interrupt. Even this Hent Covine guy, he's on here thinking that we're having some sort of debate. He's in here having all these conversations, right? But this really intellectual individual doesn't even bother to read the description of what is promoted here. And if he will just do that, he can see at the end it does say this is humor, comedy, and Dick Earth. So there's not really much. You're not gonna find much of what you're looking for, Mr. Hent Covine. You might want to go check out the other FE channels. That's just my way of putting it. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, like, there's a difference between, like, being sat in a classroom, right, and being told what you need to know and how you need to recite it to pass a test. Like, there's a difference, because mathematics does require a lot of thought. Like, I mean, there's, like, really nothing more beautiful than standing in front of a whiteboard with, like, 4 other people just staring at it, like, trying to solve something. Like, you can't Google that, and nobody can teach you how to do that. Like, you have to have those problem-solving skills within you. And so that's why when I hear things that are just like false logically or just contradict, like people will have a contradiction in one sentence, and it's just so funny because they're like, "Oh, you're so stupid." I'm like, "Yep, that's me." I'm the big idiot here, and I'm just laughing, because these people have their information from a video and literally never looked into it. So it's just laughable because, people might want to argue and say, "Oh, well, if you have your degree, that just means you're the most indoctrinated." Like, no, I might be able to say yes for some subjects because, there is just rote information you have to know, but it is different after high school. A lot different. And a lot of stuff requires a lot of your own personal creativity, like in programming. Nobody can teach you, like they can teach you how to program, but when you're given a problem and said, turn this into a program, there's no Googling that. There's no book for that. There's no, sitting you down in a classroom and telling you how to do it. Like, you have to do it yourself, like creatively, problem solving. And that's the crux, of the argument. And if people don't know how to problem solve, then they should just shut up and stop arguing stuff they don't know. And maybe listen just a little bit once in a while and take the responsibility to think about something and be willing to be wrong, because that's like so much more important than like, "Oh, the earth is flat, I know it, where's the curve, show me the curvature." Like, I want to like strangle people. It's like, then go find it or something, I don't know. But because it is indoctrination. If you're just sitting here watching videos for 24 hours a day, that's indoctrination. You're being indoctrinated with these people's opinions, and you're not doing anything to scrutinize it or be skeptical about what they're saying.
Let
Right?
me make a point. Yeah, it is absolutely right. There was this guy here a couple days ago. This really young Australian fella. I think he might have been like 17 years old or something like that. And he was in here and he was talking about the flat Earth, and he was trying to debate that the Earth is flat. And I kind of felt bad talking to him because I didn't want to like shatter all his dreams and all his hopes of the flat Earth. I just, asked him some basic questions like, have you gone outside and have you looked at the moon? Have you looked at the sun? Have you seen how they behave? Are they getting smaller like these guys are telling you? Have you checked out the southern flights? Have you looked into that? Are these guys actually telling you the truth, or are they just making some stuff up? And once you start to analyze these things and you start to look at them, instead of just sitting here watching the videos, you should be out there doing the critiquing, being skeptical. And
Right.
pretty much, just taking things into your own hands and see where it leads you instead of, letting other people tell you what it is.
Right. It's find your own first-hand sources of information and then verify what you're being told with them. And it's not that you have to accept their answers, but it still leads you down a better path of investigation and problem solving. Because that's what it's all about. It's like, okay, yeah, where is the curvature? Well, what is that? Break that little dogmatic, hallelujah statement into more parts. Like, what can you do with that statement? Who can you ask about it? And ask several people. People who've been out there working and just talking to people, and not just accepting one person's video. Again, it's like we don't know what their intentions are. And if you already do believe that the Earth is not a globe, which is, I think, the first step, like, I don't know if it's a globe or not, but I know we're definitely not moving. Okay, well, that's a different step. There's all these little different caps, and it's nobody's place to tell you where you need to fit in, because I'm not joining anybody's cult. And the more they try to make me, the more I'm going to fight and argue everything they're telling me now. So, yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
that's just who I am.
this was actually your way of fighting back to be to be quite honest, because
Well, to not be
I was
silenced
noticing.
because, yeah, it's just, it frustrates me to no end, and people don't ever give you a chance to talk. They never even let you finish your thought, and it's retarded, and I'm not gonna play that
Yeah,
game.
and this is a place where you can come and you can have your voice heard. So if Mr. Hint Holbein, if you want to come on here and say your piece, you're more than welcome to. Come show us the globe. Maybe the globe is correct. Come prove the globe to us. So, I mean, you've done years of research since 2002. He says. I'm just wondering why he's out there in the crowd. We've got at least 7 seats open up here on the panel. Come on up. School us. Show us what you got. And
Absolutely.
yeah, in terms of allowing everybody to have a voice in the community, not just the top brass or whatever. So this is that platform, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to. I'm not supposed to thank the moderator. My
You can
bad.
appreciate the platform, and I'm not Andrea, and I will ban people. So everybody's clear. I'm not against rules. I'm against rulers, and there's a difference. And I didn't know that you were sort of interacting with the chat right now. I didn't even have it up, and now I see who you were talking to.
Yeah, I mean, we got this clown over here named Hint Holbein. He thinks there's flat earthers in this panel, and I'm just like wondering where is he going with this? Like most everybody here have different models,
Yeah,
and
it's
some of
like
us
what I
don't even
just
have models.
right. It's like what I just said. It's like we all have our little kind of camp of knowledge that we're comfortable with admitting to, and I just
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
not
I
up to
just think
anybody. It's
Hint
not up to
Holbein
anybody
needs a
else.
new
Yeah, it's
job.
like it's not up to anybody else to like make you fit into their box. Because that's them trying to limit you again. It's them trying to limit your thinking because it makes them uncomfortable where your thought process might lead you to.
Hmm. That is true. They do fear the unknown.
And and to me, that's the most beautiful thing. It's like tonight, you know, or just all day today. It's like crazy arguments were happening, but it's like at the end of it, magic happens. And I was like, that's what happens when you don't try to steer the conversation or try to control the narrative, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to try to keep people on topic, because that's not when magic happens, staying in a box. It's like when you're allowed to digress, and then it branches into a million different beautiful things, and then you end up somewhere you didn't know you were going to end up, but it's still a discovery for yourself, or growth. It might not have anything to do with flat earth, but it's still knowledge. It's still a personal revelation. And to me, that's how I come to know myself better. It's just talking things through. I don't learn about myself from a book. And if anybody claims that they learn about themselves from a book, they're lying to themselves. They're wanting to be something that they are not because they're maybe not happy or they're uncomfortable realizing how awesome they are. And that's really the crux of it. People hold themselves back because they're not ready to shine, I guess. Don't let other people control your shine, people, because they will. They'll kick dirt all over it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and you do make a lot of sense. I don't want other people to tell me what to think. I don't want them to control me. I'd like to say and do what I like to do, and think the way I want to.
Right, exactly. That's the whole thing. That's been more of the rebellion for me too. It's like, fuck if I'm gonna let anyone tell me what I can and can't do, what I can and can't say, who I can and can't talk to.
Oh
Uh-uh.
yeah.
Yeah, that's just so beyond bizarre. It's
I
so
have to ask though. I
beyond
have to
reason.
ask.
It's completely beyond reason, and for anybody to even side with the argument or the person making that argument, they need to seriously question themselves and what they're doing with their life if they're going to follow someone who's telling them, I'll ban you if you talk to Yvette.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Let me ask you that question though. Is that? I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Is that what's his name? Good God, I was just thinking about him. Jeff Stewart, right? Jeff Stewart. Is that who you're talking about? That asked you not to associate yourselves with other people, like this Hent Covine guy or this Lord Stephen Price guy? Is that who it was?
yeah, and it was specifically Tim Osmond because I went out of my way to befriend him because there were so many lies being said about him that I wasn't going to accept that, So I got to know him instead. And, oh, lo and behold, of course they're all lies. It's like all the lies being said about me. And people can come and talk to me, I'll be completely 100% honest because that's all I've ever been. And I've got nothing to hide. However, someone who claims that they exposed Tim Osmond, for being someone else, and I can prove 100% verifiable that didn't happen, and that person is not Tim Osmond.
The
'Cause I've
doxing of
seen
Kyle
his,
Jones.
yeah,
Yeah, I
because I've
see what you're
seen his
talking about.
face, because I've seen his face. I've talked to him one-on-one, on the phone, video chat. Uh, it's ridiculous. So the people who are panicking the most are the liars, and I'm just going to be here doing my thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people panicking, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
it's
think
hardcore
a couple
desperation.
yeah, a couple days ago, I think there was a Jeff Stewart character. He came in here. He threatened everybody or
Yeah, that's
something
funny.
about
Yeah,
MK Ultra or
who
something.
does that?
That's
And
so crazy.
who still goes and supports him after he does that? I
Yeah,
mean,
but
to
I think
me,
a lot of people are starting to wake up to that. You know what I mean? I mean, he can do that. He can do it all he wants to. But at a certain point, people are going to realize the truth, and people are going to realize that who are these people that are chatting here? They're just average people. They're not scientists. They're not militia, or they're not any cult members. I mean, maybe some of us are cult members. I don't know.
yeah, I'm not presenting information to brainwash anybody with. I'm not trying to be all, look at me, I'm so awesome. I've been quiet. I've just been like, whatever, because I said it before and I mean it. I don't give a shit what people think about me. I don't care if people even know who I am. But if you're that paranoid and that skittish and that freaked out about your small little conspiratard world, I'll give you my first and last name. You can look me up. I have nothing to hide.
Actually, that's probably not the best of ideas right now, Yvette.
No, I honestly don't care. No,
um,
I've been putting that out there since the beginning anyway.
but we did notice that some of the people, at least I noticed, some of my older my friends from FE chats, they've been coming over. I think Smedley was here. Hillbilly comes in every so often.
And
So I don't think everybody's buying into the Jeff Stewart thing, saying
no,
that,
I
hey,
know. I'm not
don't
saying
come over here,
everybody.
you know?
Right, I'm not
Hey,
saying
look,
everybody
I
has.
see Justin in the chat, and you know what? I've had some great conversations with this guy, Justin. Yeah, and I don't think he believes him.
Well, I would hope not, but he still has his own narrative that he needs to overcome.
Yeah,
Because
everybody does.
someone else has already poisoned the pot. It's not just Jeff. It does. The poison does leak out, and people drink the poison, and then they poison the well for the other people who don't know, and they don't even realize that's happening. And so they come in with little biases and little judgments, just waiting, for you to say something weird or to mess up. I'm like, you're not gonna catch that, but the personal attacks need to stop, because I don't do that. I only do it when I'm attacked, because I'm not a fucking doormat, and I will come back at you with everything I got to. So, people want to call me mean. Look at yourself first before you start judging people. That's all I got to say. Oh, and the hypocrisy? Don't even get me started on that. Good Lord.
Mm-hmm. That's a big load off your chest, there, moderator.
Yeah, I've been, I have my friends. I've talked to people,
Have you been
But
ostracized by the community?
I ostracized myself. I just took myself out of it because I saw already what was happening, and I wasn't going to be the presence that caused the friction. I've just been
So you,
here, and like you
basically,
said, like Jeff comes over here and pops in. Like I haven't gone over there and popped in. I haven't been antagonizing anything. I'm bringing people together, and he can
oh,
shoo me away as much as he wants, but he's just shooing himself away because I'll bring people together no matter where I am, because that's just what I do. I've done it my whole life. It's just the type of person I am. I'm not a divider, but I will kick people out when they shit in my house. So whoever wants to go with the poopy pants can go with the poopy pants, but you know, more power to you, I guess.
yeah, I haven't been over to Jeff's in a while. I'm banned over there, so pretty much out of that loop. But I don't think he's bringing up anything new. If he was, I would hear about it. And I'm also not ready to bet my life and my children's lives on Flutter. That's just the
Right,
way
me
I
either.
feel.
I would bet my cat's life on Flat Earth.
You wouldn't, but you have several cats.
I have one cat.
Oh, you don't? Oh, wow. Well, if you had several cats, would you bet one of their lives on Flutter?
No.
No?
I would bet that worm in my video on Flat Earth, because I already killed
So,
it.
so your convictions for Flat Earth are waning.
Hmm. It's more see, it's like my new name here. It's like FE Public Access. It's not to be confused with Flat Earth Public Access. FE means faith, and that's all I've ever held to.
Faith.
Fe. Fe. It means faith in Spanish.
Ah, okay, I got you. It's like a Spanglish word, huh?
No,
Spanglish. We should have
no, it's
had
actually just fe.
truth in
It's just
here.
faith. Yeah, it's a true
Okay.
Spanish word. It's a true translation. So
Yeah, my Spanish is not very good.
and so
I would never figure that out.
it's not my faith in flat Earth is waning. It's my faith in people, and all the stand-up ones have already stood up.
Hey, Shakil, একটু শুনবা? Oh, sorry.
No, that's it. So the sentence ended there. Because there's really there's no ending to that statement. It's like the stand-up people have already stood up. So yeah, why am I going to put myself on the line or put myself out there for people who have no faith or support for me? I'll give my faith and support to our little family here, trolls and all, because you know what? They're people. They're people with different beliefs, and I don't make war with people who have different beliefs than me. I want to get to know them and talk. That's just who I am. Well, take it or leave it. And if you leave it, just, leave. You don't need to come at me because I'm different or I think different than you. You're just showing me how small you are if you do. So
This
I
is
will use
check.
no, I will use my
Listen,
right on the
listen to
abusive.
this Hent Cobine guy. He wants us to go talk to some astronaut who is clearly a Mason in the upper echelons of society, who's lied to you before, gone to space, all this other bullshit. Come on, dude. Come on. Okay, sorry about that.
No, feel free. I'm not reading the chat at all because then I get distracted and I can't even finish a thought. So, in fact, I was trying to download that video so I wouldn't lose it and get all those copyright strikes, and I keep getting kind of hung up on it. Yeah, I better not do that. Could you hear the music just now?
I think so. No, I don't know. It's just
Okay.
quick.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm going through my copyright strikes, and I don't want to have like one on top of the other. I was like, oh wait, I better not do that. I might just delete the whole video. I don't think it was one of the great sessions either. Anyway.
What, left from last night or what?
Well, it was the one um, from me from this morning. Yeah, it was like from.
Is it what one previous to this one?
Yeah, yeah, it was from like midnight to 6 or 8 in the morning. Oh no, it started at 3, so it was from 3 to noon ish. This morning was pretty slow, right? Like I don't remember it being. I'll go
Um,
through it. I'll go through it.
you know
Make
what?
sure. I don't want to lose any gems, you know.
There's a bit it's a bit hard to talk to me about that because your night is like my day. My day is your night. So I'm
Right, right. I
completely
forgot.
confused.
I keep forgetting that. I know that we're exactly 12 hours.
Right. And actually, I was gonna see if I can help you out with setting up the channel during, my daytime, so that it's a little bit easier for you to rest and not be worried.
Yeah, I was actually thinking you would be a good candidate too because of that. Because you're an exact flip, and
But I do have
we
a
can both get
confession
our
to make.
sleep.
So I have a problem over here, though. The problem is that it's summertime in Bangladesh, and the electricity or power, it goes away every now and then. Okay. So like every 2-3 hours, I might lose my power for about an hour. It's called load shedding. It's like sharing my electricity with other neighborhoods that are kind of suffering the same electrical
Mhm.
shortage.
Oh wow.
So, or a power shortage or whatever. So what happens is I do have a backup system for this. However, sometimes if I'm not around and the electricity goes away and my backup power doesn't catch on, then my computer will be sleeping basically or turned off. So that's the only problem I have. And it's a pretty big problem, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, all I can
But
say
I'm
to
still
that is,
willing to give it a try, that's all.
yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
no. Well, that's all that matters. All I have to say to that is, if nobody else stands up, then people will have to deal with the power outage. You know, if it gets cut
Um,
off for an hour and we only have 3-hour streams, then that's what it'll be.
I had a quick question for you though. If I use my phone to host the Hangout, or is it possible to host the Hangout on the phone?
Um, I'm not sure actually. I don't see why it wouldn't be, as long as you started it from your phone. Make sure your battery's not gonna die. Um, always give controls to a person or two. Anonymously if you need to. Just because if you do get kicked out and if you get back on right away, it won't be a big deal. You won't lose the session. But if you get kicked out long enough, then the session will end. So
Uh-huh.
there is like a little time for recovery, but you have to be able to get in through a normal route. Like if you wait too long, you'll still lose controls no matter what. I'm screen sharing the comments because I didn't get a chance to read any of them, so I'm just trying to capture them on the video.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. There's
Why?
truth in the comments.
Who? Oh, there's
No, I'm
truth in the
just.
comments? Right.
It's all head combined and his little thing. I can't read this on my phone. The comment box. Even though it's probably like a really nice feature on the Hangout, on the phone it's like unreadable.
Unreadable. Is it
Yeah.
is it like too small?
Yeah, it's tiny. It's tiny. I can tell by the icons, like, who's who though.
I've been trying to do this.
Oh, yeah, you know what? That was
This is
nice.
usually how I present it. I guess I should have started it that way. So who else was with us? Did everybody go to bed? I know we're all exhausted. I've only gotten like 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night. And I had a nap
Uh,
earlier. That was only about an hour.
yeah, believe it or not, I went to bed at like 4. I woke up at 6:30, and I've been selling mangoes ever since.
Wow. Just wow.
Yeah, it's been a very busy day for me. It's a Friday. It's a weekend day for me.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, it's Friday, Saturdays are my weekends, so a lot of people are out. They're shopping, want some stuff. So I've been busy.
Good question. Who knows?
Yeah, and I know that everybody was so worked up last night. Uh, it was something to get off our chest, I think.
Yeah, it's good to argue, you know.
That's a healthy way instead of bottling it up, you know?
Well, instead of bottling it up and then shutting people out and then just feeding off that anger and resentment instead of trying to solve anything, you know, or try to get to know where people were coming from. 'Cause we're all coming from somewhere else. I mean, it's like even last night, the hangout was going to end. So, you know, I was trying to notify Vidar so that he wouldn't just get cut off in the middle of the stream, you know? So, like, you know, just wrap it up or hold your thought so that we can take it over to the next session. And he thought I was just like telling him to shut up, which I wasn't doing at all. And as soon as he was leaving, I, you know, was just playing with the soundboard and I clicked the applause, and he thought I was applauding that he was leaving. I'm like, no, when people leave the podium, you applaud. You know, it's like it was the end of the session. I thought give everyone a round of applause. You know, so it's. I mean, disagreements can come from anywhere, and it could be something that small of a misunderstanding. You know,
Yeah, but none
when
of us are
someone
like
has
sticklers
completely
like
good
that, you know?
intentions and the other person's seen it as being totally bitchy. You know,
Yeah,
it's just the
yeah,
way
but I
we are
don't
as
think,
humans.
yeah, none of us are though like sticklers like that for, little details like that. I think all of us have a healthy mind to kind of look through all this, the little bullshits and the little whatnots,
Right, and that's
and
what I like
try
about
to come to the
us, you know.
argument, you know?
Yeah, we're adult enough to fight it out, I guess you can say, but still come to an understanding. And
Well, I like to talk, talk it out is more of what I would say, you know? That's
yeah,
what
I mean
happens
that's
because
important.
when you fight, when you argue, when you scream, it really doesn't get anywhere. It
It
kind of
doesn't.
blocks you from going anywhere at all.
Well, yeah, because screaming has already shut your ears, so and your eyes too. So you're just nothing but a freaking fucking cock gobbling mouth, fucking spewing diarrhea over people. You know, who wants to be that? Not me. I'd rather be big ears. They do kind of have big ears. Especially since I cut all my hair off, they're much more prominent.
Oh, that reminds me, I gotta go shave my head.
There you go. I've gotten addicted to like that shaved hair feeling. Cause
Although Ira did make a good point the other day that the hair is supposedly part of the body. It somehow works as like an antenna to your brain.
well, I still got a ton of hair, so
I don't
it's
have a whole lot of hair though.
oh well, I got a ton of hair, but it's just that it's so curly. So when it starts to grow out, it just like makes me want to cut all those little curly ends and just get back to that like little buzz feeling. Cause I don't know, I
Well,
got addicted to it. Cause it's funny. Oh, this mouse is too sensitive. Leah, you got demons in you, girl. You better take care of that shit. Yeah.
I was having
Once I,
fun with Leah.
yeah. Once I finish recording all this chat here on the video, Leah, you're going to be banned. I'm sorry, but I don't accept demons into my house. Vitriolic, hateful skanks who want to fuck their cult leaders. You can keep doing whatever you want to do, but don't bring it into my house.
It's all right. No, she's fun to play with. I love having her on here.
Yeah, I'm sure demons are fun to play with, but
She was accusing me
all
of being.
they're doing is sucking your energy because they want that and they need it.
I don't believe in that shit, so it's fun.
Oh, I do. I do.
It's funny, like different things are. I guess hit people with, they take offense to it, but I don't. I don't know.
Yeah, when people
Well,
are
there
saying
is
like I
negative
can't wait for
energy.
us all to die and like that we'll be free when snack is gone, like to me those are threats. I don't take threats lightly.
Yeah, no, I don't know. She's just real sad that this is going to continue and that they can't stop it. So
It is
I don't
sad.
know.
It
They're
is
just
sad.
desperate.
Actually,
They're just desperate.
Snack, I have a little bit of warning for you.
Okay.
I was looking at some comments other people have, we're not the first people. I wouldn't even include myself in this because I try to look at it from an objective point of view. But, there's other people in the past that have pointed out, some of the flaws in Steve's logic. And the FBI Steve had called the FBI on them. If you can believe that or not, there's a video out that Omnieris made.
Yeah, there's something called IC3, and if you think you're a little bit combative on the chats, you might want to just check out what IC3 is.
What is
I
it?
mean, it's about if you it's called IC3. I guess it's something you can report like cyber stuff to or whatever. Um, I think that's what Stevie was all doing. Maybe he just called the FBI. I don't know how I did. But what am I doing? What am I doing wrong? I mean, I'm just one person of a group of people trying to talk about and understand the controversy.
Right, that's what we're all doing. But these cult people are preaching a different story. They're not here to learn or debate or
They're here to
anything.
verify what they already believe. That's
They
why.
just want to judge and insult and steal
Well,
your energy. They want to break you down and
yeah.
brainwash you.
Well, I don't think of it like that, but oh, well, cults do, I guess. But,
Yeah,
anyway,
they
I,
have their
I, I don't I don't find them threatening. Like if you find them threatening, then it's like it makes me
It's
feel
not
like
that I find them
yeah,
threatening. It's insulting.
they believe in like some really silly shit, and I love seeing when they get desperate and say crazy shit back. It just really shows where
Yeah,
they're
I'm
at.
happy to record that too. But it's still disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know. Leah talks some crazy jazz. I'll tell you. I said, Leah, you better back off before I give you persistent nightmares.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, why can't I? I mean, I'm an evil demon possessed person.
Yeah, it's like
She's hilarious.
she's the demon. She's the one who's possessed.
I she doesn't know that though. That's fine. I forgive her.
Well, she's found herself her truth. That's the way I look at it.
You know
Everybody
what?
has their own perspective on that.
I don't know if that's true if they're being manipulated. That's not truth.
Yeah, no, it's just really funny. I think like she's just like kind of a culty groupie, and she needs all the fear. She needs all the You know, it's just what gets her. Like some people, they're like, man, this isn't a cult. I don't want to be in this. Stupid. Some people like that. I think she's one of them. She's not just like deceived. She's like actively loving the idea that she could be part of something so like a fantasy. You know?
Exactly. It is a fantasy. I mean, what exactly is she being promised here for her allegiance?
You know, she just gets the thrill of trying to shout people down that disagree with her, which I think everybody that's like her kind of enjoys doing that. Yeah, believe me, you know, it's not without some other considerations for all the other people that are being, you know, either deceived or deceiving others about this concave model. And you can like, there's just no strong enough proof for it, really, and there's no strong enough proof for a lot of assertions, you know. So if you're God, you could prove it, right? That's what I feel.
Right. God doesn't need her to be saving us.
Yeah, I mean, if Steven's God right now, what's he thinking? Like, oh, I must have created Max,
It's just
but he fucked my
the
life up.
it's
That's
the
cool.
ego and the pretension and the self-importance and the self-righteousness, and keep it. Please keep all of it. I don't want any of what you're selling. I want none of it. Because I know who
It's
my creator is, and I know who my God is. I know who Jesus is.
well,
None of you little demons are any of that. Little imps
I
that need
just
to.
I find it funny that the little games that they'll try. Well, because a lot of people might stop for a second and think, oh wait, maybe he is, or like, oh, what is, like I don't even. That's not even a pause for me. It's just like, hey, okay, that's your bullshit comment. Thank you so much. Now I have a little more insight into your fucked up mind. Oh,
Right,
you're believing all Leah's vitriolic demon accusations.
right. But what I find is that it does the freaking incessant
Yeah.
harassing. What it does is it does change the mood and puts everyone on attack mode, and it makes people say nasty, evil shit that they would normally not say to people. And if she's bringing that out of us, to me, that's evil. If evil pulls evil out, you know, good people bring goodness out of people. So, I'm not going to invite that in. I'm just not. I mean, even if it's amusing, you know, go to a zoo,
Well, I mean, no, it's part of the whole free speech thing. Like well, I mean, if she was going to speak, I guess that'd be one thing. I guess so, but I guess we'll have a relative free speech. Typing is a lesser form of free speech. It doesn't have to wind up on videos. We happen to cover it.
I told
Um,
her. I told her click the
but
join link, get on the air, talk to us like a person, you know. But she
that'll
wants
be
to
all right.
be this kind of troll here. And I did say, I never
Mhm.
said I was doing, like the Andrea Sensi free flop because look what happened already, with
Uh,
with the completely hands off approach, I just think that privileges can and will be lost,
Well,
Again,
I don't know.
even
Like, I'll tell
anarchy
you what.
doesn't
Like,
mean no rules. There are rules in anarchy, There's just no rulers. And
mhm.
people who disturb the community can't be a part of that community anymore. That's just as simple as that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with. Well, I don't know. Like, it's honestly, it's your time that you're putting into hosting this. So I don't know. I'm not trying to like say anything, but part of the overly optimistic and idealistic uh, scenario that Andre Sensi laid down for free speech, um, part of that caused us to kind of get past a lot of things. So it might be the
Yeah.
kind of thing that's just like it takes a cycle or two to kind of get through, and then maybe it'll change. But I
There's
mean, honestly,
definitely growing pains, for sure.
if basically for every day that I can get online, you know, I can. I don't see why I can't talk about uh, the whatever the Korean unity movement, or why I can't talk about all that stuff. I mean, I'm not cyberbullying anybody here. I'm not threatening anyone. You know, I'm
Right.
just exposing the real truth that is there. That may be obscured if you're thinking like that somebody might be the supreme being or something like that. So anyway, just kind of try to cut through that bullshit, and I'm gonna cut through Leah's bullshit too, because it's just bullshit, really. I
Yeah.
don't think of it as serious. I mean, if you perceive it as being something that's a spiritual attack and you're taking it that way, I'm not gonna say anything. But if I just don't give her words power like that. I just figure she's full of bullshit, and she's just gonna squirm any way she can to like try and put a message out there, you know, no matter what. And
Right.
I think most of the people that have been around Flat Earth for a while have seen Leah's trolling on other Flat Earth things. Like I know she was. I think I probably met her first through like maybe a Martin Leakey, uh, live chat that I was on, where she frequents a lot of them, too. And her and Steven would go trolling Flat Earth live hangouts so that they could I don't know, feel some
That's
sense
what I
of
mean. It's the
accomplishment.
incessantness of it that it is. It's a gangstalking, basically. And
Yeah.
there's no saving her, you know. And to me, I already see her as being a corrupted one, you know, and I'm not going to let poison leak into something I care about and risk someone being poisoned, you know. It's like I said, you know, it's why I chose to leave my little community, because I don't want to be part of somebody that spreads more poison or helps it fester. You know, I'll just remove myself. So, um, yeah, because I don't take poison. You know, I just don't. It has
Well,
nothing to
Well,
do with.
the way I'm looking at it is, if it's all true, if whatever he's selling is true, right?
Right, I'm
Why
not
isn't he out
silencing.
there?
Yeah.
Why isn't he out there, spreading the message, in a more in a louder voice, is what I'm saying, to a bigger audience. He could publish a paper. He could write in the newspaper. He could do so many other things, and I don't see that happening. And I don't also see concavers coming out and making videos like flat earthers do. Like average
yeah,
earthers, they come out and they make some videos about why they're doing this. But I don't see many concavers doing that.
yeah. Well, yeah. No, I mean, there's like one major guy that's a concaver. I guess maybe some other people will have like some addendum type of informations, but essentially the entire model is been plagiarized by Steven, and he's claiming it as his own, and whatever. This has just been going on for a while. Really, really, if the whole community of flat earthers was not so fractionated by who are you listening, who are you following, or should we be following anybody, or like, oh, did you hear about this? If we weren't so fucked up with all that, then we would have snapped Steven's dick off a while ago. It's just the nature of it. And it was really over. So the point at which the concave resurgence of Steven ended, when it really ended, was when they did the rectilineated test. And they don't want to admit this, but this is the truth. It ended there. That's when this became not real anymore, and nobody wants to admit it. And they'll just say anything to get you off that topic. There's some topics people don't like you talking about. They got pretty much everything to lose. Well, anyway, that's just my opinion on the matter, and we're gonna keep hammering at it and just try to wake people up. When enough people are outraged by the by his actions, or if enough people are just ticked off, I mean, I think that's good. I don't want to upset anybody, but sometimes anger is a useful kind of force, even if it's somewhat perceived as a negative thing. That anger can get you through a lot of bullshit. You have to be angry to protest bullshit. You have
Yeah,
to
no,
be
exactly.
you have
That's a really
and
good
you
point. And she made me angry enough to protest her bullshit.
well, yeah.
I don't know if saying this the right way, but I don't have anything against the concave model, and I actually find the concave model to be quite interesting. Especially, having lived on the ball for 30 some years, I mean, I don't have a problem with living inside the ball either. So that's my point, is like, it could be that, or it could be other ways around or something else. But here's how I would do it. Like, if I were to build a bridge, or if I were to build a road, I'm gonna think that the land is flat and I can level it and I can build, whatever. I can build a road. If I'm going to be looking at cosmology, I might be looking into the concave model, because the cosmology there, I like it. It's much more easy to understand in that model. If I'm going to look at flight paths, I might be looking at the globe model. So I'm one of these guys. Maybe I'm an opportunist if you look at it that way. But I'm going to take all these models and I'm going to take out the best parts that best fit the scenario that I'm currently working on, and that's how I'm going to proceed.
All right. Cool. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, essentially this model is I guess it's a big model. You said it's a big model before, but it's only big because somebody's talking about it. I mean, there's a bazillion you know cosmological models that one could push, based on something, a finding in history or religion or um, mythology, whatever, right? But when you start claiming that it's the objective truth and that you have really no hard data to back it up on, then it becomes something that's just a useless imitation of a model. So that's just kind of my opinion on it. And but it's a whole cause behind the philosophy of the Dick Earth model. Well, I can't say it's a whole one. There are a lot of dicks and trolls and stuff like that. So I think that it also made sense on that level as well. But um, you know, just because you can talk about how a model could work, or that there are certain kinds of motions in the sky that are resolved, or if you are able to make sense of, I don't know, anything else. Let's say there was a model that was based on evolution, or a model that was based on the generation of life, right? Like on this planet, like that might be interesting. You could probably develop a whole cosmology that makes sense in that way. Um, so I don't. There's just a lot of different ways that you can kind of approach it, because it's essentially a symbolic system. When we attach ourselves to a shape of this, whatever the system is supposed to be, and um, I don't know. It seems like we just sign over our willpower to that. So I'm just kind of against people claiming that something is the objective truth, which is exactly why I claim that the Dick Earth model is undebatable, unmaster debatable. I don't care if you are a master debater. Um, it's just not something that you can disprove. you know. And even if you get me on a couple facts, you might get me on a couple facts. Be like, the Dick Earth model doesn't work for, I don't know what it can't work for. I don't know.
Probably the flight paths. It doesn't work with the flight paths, I think.
The
Or
bypass?
the time zones, maybe.
Time zone. No, it should work for
Yeah,
time
yeah.
zone.
Whatever the case, I understand what you're saying.
Well,
Maybe
but then I
not.
could just alter it. I could just alter it, because that's how this works. There is a confirmation bias with all this. Like, it has to work on a ball because it's like this, because it's like this, because it's like this. So there's a whole stacking of different logics that each kind of cross-verify each other, and then you're like, oh yeah, it must be like that. Um, that's part of it. There's just like layers of different data that are out there that seem to verify it. And I think if I spent enough time and had enough people kind of fact-checking the Dick Earth model, that it's possible to probably build a viable, scientifically, debatable, like in a real academic way. This is my goal with this, is to create a model that can be academically kind of proven. So this is to, I don't know, be very useful to kind of just put everybody in a spot where they're like, okay, well, maybe I'm not so sure about what I do believe, but maybe I'll ask better questions now. You know?
Right. I think that's so
Well,
important. It's ask questions to begin with, and then ask better questions after that.
Well, if you look at the globe model, what do you have? You have some key assumptions that scientists had made, or people have made, some key assumptions they made, and based on these assumptions, they've come up with a mathematical formula that works, okay? And it can be proven that it works because, you know, it's mathematics, and you've built your assumptions on some, you know, key factors. So you can do that with any model. That's what you're trying to say, Snack. I think, if
Well,
I'm reading you correctly.
hmm I think you can, and you know, you can develop a system, you can develop a mathematical system to approximate any any system that you observe on in the world. Like, so you could see, I don't know, just the way the squirrels go collect nuts. You know, you could create a whole mathematical system based on how far they go, you know, where their zones are, like how they work it, how, you know, so you can talk about all this stuff, and then but through that observation, then you can transfer that into a mathematical formula, and you know, that's proof, right? So, you know, I
Yeah,
could
you
say
can prove
that
it.
I've got a
Prove it with
mathematical
mathematics.
calculation of right. So I could eventually arrive at a mathematical calculation for uh, how squirrels are collecting nuts. But then then what really matters is how do I present this information in a narrative format where I'm telling you something that's beyond the data. You know, I'm telling you a whole model. I'm giving you a whole big picture of the actions that are going on, and it's really up to me as the narrative thread to the information to to present that in the most fair and truthful light that there could be. But it seems like that's not exactly at a premium when you get into like big time science. It's kind of about, you know, backing up the people that that are either in your you know, your direct supervising teachers and academic staff and stuff like that. You have to satisfy them first.
I think what
You
you're
have to
talking
sat.
about is peer review, and if that's what you're talking about, that's what it is that you have a bunch of people who've already have certain beliefs in how this world works, and they won't, you know, judge. They won't judge your paper with factual evidence, or like, you know, with I guess what I'm trying to say is that they'll judge your paper based on what they know to be true, and they won't look at anything else. You know, that's a little bit off of what they already know, and that's one way to just kind of cock block science. You know, if you've got actually something that's, you know, very provable, something that's very demonstrable. You know, even like, for instance, the example I like to give is the from the electric Earth. You know, if you look at all that's happening in the cosmos, modern science will tell you that it's vast emptiness of things, you know? And if you look at the electric universe, it's the complete opposite. It's like it's filled. It's not empty. The universe is not empty. It's filled with things. So, you know what? That doesn't get passed up as real science because why? Well, because the peer review people, they don't consider it as science. So you have that bias, this choke point where science gets cock blocked. So I think that's what you're going at, Snack.
Yeah, because it's not just the living people who are your institutional touchstones or whatever. It's everyone who came before, and not only their lives, but how other people have positioned them in some sort of diorama of other scientists and discoveries, to where it presents a certain story. So, like, you know, for instance, we always hear the Coriolis example talking about the bullet, right? And that this must be proof of a Coriolis effect. Um, and it would be surprising for many people to find out that Coriolis never intended this to be something that would be applied to atmospheric or weather phenomenon or anything like that.
We're snipers,
Uh,
probably.
we're snipers, all right, and it's because simply what it is a mechanical observation, based on the motion of bodies, the rotation of bodies, right? So Coriolis was an engineer, mechanical engineer, and he taught that subject. He didn't teach atmospheric sciences. So it's something that after his death, they thought it was great, and Coriolis is full of like interesting observations. So, but anyway, so they basically appropriated it, put it into a totally different field of science, and then basically passed it off as the fact. So now, as a person that's going through the learning education system and beyond, right? In as far as science is concerned, whatever they say is what's going. That's the fact. So you can't walk it back at all. And there's a lot of times there's going to be some barriers to understanding the nature of things if you are kind of given these somewhat faulty misnomer type bits of information and taken from different fields and applied there, and so it's a theoretical process. But as I understand the whole idea of the rotation of I know what the Coriolis effect is supposed to be in classical mechanics. I'm just saying like it's just a rotation, right? So when we were looking at earlier today, Healthy, we were looking at those maps with the wave action mapped onto the azimuthal equidistant map. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the waves and the ocean currents and the winds all over the world.
Yeah. That's in a previous show for anyone who cares. But we were just looking at it, and you can see that there's rings of counter motion, right? So that there's one ring of wind would move around, and then if the closer you get into the circle, you can see another one's going the opposite direction. You can see this kind of happening in there, and that's just basically counter force. That results from rotational force. Like one gear turns another gear in the opposite direction that it's turning. So there's a whole just a rotational relationship, but that doesn't really mean that it's a Coriolis effect. It just happens to be something that's kind of labeled as such. And then if you want to get into even the proofs that we use for that, as far as the rifle bullet, that's not necessarily Coriolis effect that's causing the bullet to change in trajectory at all. It's really just the rotation of the bullet, and the rotation of that bullet in the air and that spin that actually causes it to kind of like drift a little bit in its in the firing. And I'm not like a ballistics expert or anything like that, but when you talk about rotations of a cylinder, that's not Coriolis effect anymore. That's the Magnus effect. That's something that describes. That's a way to describe why a tennis ball curves, in the air. It's due to an airfoil effect. It's due to rotations of a spherical or cylindrical object. So that would be a much more honest way to have put the case out there. But no, they go with the Coriolis effect and they hammer it down, and then next thing you know, they're talking about how the Earth's rotating and all this other stuff, and you lose that ability to actually put the thought in there if you don't know all that stuff. So someone like a spaceman could come in, or Negatory. If you're not aware of the subtleties in this, then you'll never be able to effectively put up a counter argument that will be of any use, and you'll also be vulnerable to just falling into like a logical fallacy. So, yeah. So I don't know. Just that kind of stuff is good to know, and it's I don't know, whatever. Hopefully, I don't know if that makes sense to somebody what I just said. I'm not sure. I've been up for a long time, by the way. It's almost 3:30 here.
Yeah, it did make sense, especially the whole thing about the Coriolis effect. What surprises me is that this is supposedly mainstream knowledge, yet most people that believe in the mainstream knowledge, they can't really differentiate between how Coriolis works anyway. Does it work on planes? Does it work on a cannonball? Does it work on sniper rifles? Does it only work on weather patterns, there's like so many varying consensus as to where this Coriolis effect is actually taking place. And yeah, maybe you are correct in that, in the sense that, you know, we just look at this pattern and we say, okay, it's Coriolis. There's nothing else going on, and that is, you know, that is what the mainstream media is. Actually, that's what the mainstream science is saying. But what we're saying, I think, is at least what I'm saying is that, you know what, let's take a deeper look into it. Let's find out if there's other factors involved. You know, we know about this magnetism thing. We know that it affects water. Maybe something's going on that's that we're missing, and that's I think that's the inquiry that I'm trying to make, is that, you know, I want to have a deeper look into this.
Yeah, and you know, it's people that are, you know, basically have this cult mentality that will not allow you to look any further. They'll tell you to look the other way. They'll tell you that they've already figured it out. Stop looking. And you know, I guess it's sort of a balance thing that happens. I mean, I guess, you know, there's people that I do disagree with in conversation that are doing what I just said. They're trying to look at all the information. But yeah, I think it's the purveyor of your information is really what's important. You know, I think if you have a dishonest, um, if you have a dishonest, like lying, like you know what I mean, like just a really like terrible lying person that's kind of like a narcissist and wants to, like, you know, basically get people to follow him, you know, because they think they're somehow, you know, like God or something. Then all those, the people that are part of that process just learn a lot of stuff, but they learn it in a way where they actually have no idea how to discover their own information. So it's kind of useful to, it's much more useful if you're interested in truth just to talk about the process of discovery and less about the conclusions, because the conclusions, I mean, you know, I'm very tight with cathexis and with Mike, but you know what? If we had a talk, we don't agree on everything. We have different points of view. You know, we have all different things, and you know, our conversation is great because we always talk about different things, and those things illuminate other things for us. You know, to kind of research and know more about. So, you know, that's sort of a good model for like working together, which is something that we don't get a chance to do if there's Glober trolls in here telling you that you don't know the first fucking thing about science, or they'll tell you that you don't have the ability in you to be able to do any of this. You know what I mean? Like, you're just a fool. Like, if you're fed that kind of stuff, there's very little chance that you're gonna like say, oh yeah, well, let me put all this work into it, and then I'll talk to you again later about it. You know, I don't care to talk to any Glober people like that. I don't care to prove what I think to Spaceman or to Negator. You know, I'd much more rather prove it in the Dick Earth model and show them that. You know, just see what they have to say about that. See if they feel like debating it. See if it knocks them around a little bit, having to debate something that's a little bit different. Be like, they basically just train on these kind of facts and figures and different logical fallacies to kind of drag you into, to say like, oh, it's this false dichotomy of flat or round, and it's annoying as fuck after a while if you actually follow flat Earth or any of this questioning of the model, you know. So and you know, I don't agree with all the videos I've seen by Vancouver, BC, but one of them I thought was pretty good was he's just saying, he's like, you know, are we just gonna sit around for another fucking year and talk about the same bullshit for the next fucking year, you know? You know, like he's dissatisfied with his hockey team or something. Like, I'm not exactly sure what I got from it,
Actually,
but
I
it did make
think
sense, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't want to spend another year just talking about that the boats go around the dick or not, you know? So.
yeah, I see what he was saying. You know what? And I think I kind of share in his frustration that it's not going anywhere. You just
Mm-hmm.
keep repeating the old things over and over again, and then what's the new thing that I notice is that people are being cornered into these little boxes where, hey, you know, you shouldn't even check out those other information. You shouldn't even do any more research. Now, you know, you're at this point. You don't need to debate. You know, all you need to do is you just need to chill. You know, if you think you're a flat Earth, come with us. You know, we'll be this one tight group. And even if there's knowledge out there that could prove something or disprove something, you don't need to know about it. You found your place. Okay, you've been looking for us, now you found us. So that's what it feels like to me. Just people are getting boxed in, and they're starting to feel like maybe it is a belief and not something that is like a theory, you know? Because, you know, I don't even see the AE model, or I mean the flat Earth model, being developed very much, you know? It's just the same thing that I've seen for like the last 3 years now, or last 2, 3 years, yeah.
Well, it's not. It's there's only so far it can go as a flat Earth model AE projection map. Either you agree with it or you don't, and then secondly, that's all there is. You know, we can't. We're not mapping further than that. We're not saying like, okay, well, let's go map what's past and our, you know, we can't. We can't go do that. We can't really remap the whole world and some kind of, you know, in the right way, create the right AE map. You know, that's not really a one person's disposal to be able to do such a thing.
Okay,
And
so
then,
that
so
is
so let's
actually a
let's.
decent point.
But the other thing too is once you if you're just saying that the Earth is pretty flat and it's not a ball, then that's it. That's all you got. That's that's the end of the foray into the thought. You know, because unless you can get to a point where you can prove that that's true objectively with evidence, then I don't know. It's kind of like, yeah. I mean, it's not like saying like
Uh, If you
most
don't
people
mind,
can tell how that. Yeah,
yeah, I'll
please.
interject a little bit. Um, so it also seems another point that you kind of touched on, that maybe they don't need to make the model anymore because they've kind of reached, I don't know, like the peak. So even though I don't think they've reached the ultimate level on that model, I think there can be more
Oh,
things added to it. But I mean, I think the point that I'm missing is that the flat Earth community, they don't want us to make it. They don't want themselves to make it. I think they want the government to come down and make it. You know, they want the ultimate authority to point out that okay, the globe is a lie, and you know, believe whatever the hell you want to. Maybe this is like the approach they're taking.
mhm. Oh, I don't know. I mean, that would suggest that all of these people are just kind of fakes and part of something to disclose something, which I guess is a possibility. But yeah, at the same time, um, there's not much else to talk about. Either the Earth's flat or it's not, right? But in the perception that it is flat, then you have like close sun, close moon, right? And then we have like all the physics of light and dark on this, you know, in our reality. And that's not necessarily that well understood. Gravity itself is not that well understood, although it can be predicted. You know, forces can be predicted, but the physical, like,
Actual physics behind it is
yeah,
very obscure.
like you can know what a disease is, you can know that you see it, you can diagnose it, but you might not know what the precipitating factors are, or you might not understand the actual, you know, maybe it's just beyond what you can understand with what using what you know. Um, let's see what we talk about. But I'm just saying, like the Earth is either flat or it's not. So what's the debate? Like we're talking about flat Earth. So that's its own thing, flat Earth. Whether we're talking about an electromagnetic universe, a sun that's material or not material, or a moon, what it's composed of. You know, these are interesting things. Unfortunately for this, it's like because the rat race just leads you right back into saying like, oh no, the sun must be round or the moon's round, so the Earth must be round and all the planets are round. You know, so you just get back into where you're not thinking anymore. You're just like saying like, oh well, this must be because this, you know, sort of part of the enjoyment for me with this is like I can feel like I don't know anything about anything, and I just I'm okay with that. Like I just like wait for information to kind of populate it, and then I'm like oh that's kind of cool. Like I know something a little bit more now than I didn't before, and it's sort of informing everything. Um, I don't know. It's just not the kind of thing for me that you're gonna like jump into flat Earth and in 6 weeks you'll know all the secrets. You know what I mean? There's always a why and a why and a why if you're interested in questions. I'm someone who likes to ask questions. I think.
Yeah, I feel you on that, and I'm kind of the same way with you, that I want to ask questions. And the thing is that in order to ask the right questions and give the right answers, I think there is a place for science. And my whole take on it is that there's some bullshit science and there's some good science, there's some real science. So there's a differentiation between of you finding out which is right and which is wrong, which is the real science and which is the wrong science. And this is
Yeah.
the way I approach things. But I need a model at the end of the day. Like I said, if I want to take a flight somewhere, I'm going to look into a certain model that displays that flight patterns. If I want to know the weather patterns of a certain area, if there's going to be a big storm or something coming up, a hurricane, whatever, I need those forecasts. And in order to predict those things, I'm going to need a model, or at least I'm going to need some science in order to back up those claims. So, I mean, I really see the implications that that I'm making against science. That there are some sciences that are bad, but there are some really good sciences that help us out, that help humanity out. And it's just, again, all I can say is got to start to recognize which is what.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you can work on different assumptions, different sets of assumptions, different different things are going to prove out different ways. So yeah, that's decent experimenting. We're not like some like well-funded you know multinational installation of scientists or something like that. That we're in earnest trying to like search for these things that are just amazing, amazing questions to ask. And yeah, it's cool to be part of that process. I do feel like being in the flat Earth, I've learned just like way too much. Um, and yeah, it's just that process is actually if you can just enjoy the process, then I think that's a good way to be in this. If you're looking for validation, that you're gonna find what you're gonna discover the model. If you're gonna if you're gonna figure everything out, I mean, yeah, that should be like a long-term goal. I think if you're in a flat Earth, it's good to.
Oh yeah, it is a very long-term goal. I mean, I kind of thought about this, like how long did it take Cyrus T to come up with that model of the concave Earth? And the globe
Well,
model. The globe model took years and years for it to become what it is
well,
today, and it
let,
took a
let,
lot
let,
of people.
can I just let me take
Yeah, yeah,
Cyrus
go
T
for it.
now, but I'm gonna do it like sort of on a stupid level here. But okay, so the celestial sphere is at the center. It's sort of the bubble gum and the lollipop. It's sort of the you have, you have blow pops out there. I don't know. Whatever. It's the
Yeah, I know what it
center,
is.
right? So like it's really not that important. Sort of thing. It's just a joke. Anyway, the center of it is the celestial sphere, right? So that celestial sphere wasn't invented by Cyrus T. That celestial sphere was invented by I don't have the name, but it's a Jesuit scientist, right? Jesuit scientist invents the star sphere as a way to create a model. So I don't know. In my opinion, Cyrus T could have just seen that and been like, oh my gosh, that's the middle of everything. I need somebody to make me a model.
Yeah,
You can see
yeah.
that his globe model looks like it could be in a school or something like that. It looks like a for real globe model in a sense, and it's just an inverted one. Um, I don't know, like it wouldn't be beyond somebody who had 250 people behind him to be able to afford to pay like a globe manufacturer to do like a couple one-offs. You know what I mean? It's not like they didn't make thousands of these and try to spread them. But apparently, there's no other um, uh, you know correction, whatever concave cell organizations at the same time, right? There's just the one that we know of in Florida. So I don't know. It just seems kind of like a. It seems really sad that somebody like Steve has spent so much time on this, you know,
To get
plagiarizing and
back to what I
everything else.
was saying, though, what I was
Sorry,
trying to
buddy.
get to was that these models, whether it be the globe model or the concave model, it took years of research in order to come to whatever conclusions they have come to. Even if the conclusions were wrong or right, it doesn't matter. It took a whole bunch of people, took a lot of people, and a lot of dedicated people taking their time out to make the model, and it took years, hundreds of years, right? Like maybe 200 years. And I guess for me to expect the flat Earth to come up with a model so quickly is also kind of unfair, right? Is that a good thing to say? Maybe.
I kind of feel the same way with that. But you know, at the same time, like it took whatever it took Tycho Brahe to be able to get Copernicus to the idea of his the right numbers there, and it took somebody else to think that they were parabolic orbits. It took somebody else to think that they're spherical objects. It took somebody else to think there's this and that. So yeah, it does build slowly over time, and this is why in general it's like the science is kind of like a pyramid scheme in a sense that it's always just kind of being built. It never really has an end, and the blocks that are beneath the last blocks that you stack on top, you don't take them out. It's just it's like you're building a pile more so than
Yeah,
um,
it's
you
based
know
on other science or at least other theories. Everything is based
eh,
on other theories.
sure. It's like if something is better at describing a system than another, it's generally not removed from the science Bible. It's just
Right.
added to it. And
Hmm.
this makes for what just like stuff like there's a lot of junk, I guess. There's probably a lot of things that like I'm pulling out the Magnus effect, and I mean I never heard anybody else describe the rotation of a bullet that way. I don't know why you wouldn't, because it's what the physics that's the right science for that thing, and yet we're talking about something completely different. So I don't
Right,
know.
and
I
we're
just
talking about gravity, and we're talking about Coriolis, and we're
right, but you want to
ignoring.
talk about if you want to talk about gravity, like if you're talking to a spaceman, let's say, talk about gravity, and then it's like now you're talking about Newton, right? You're not talking about gravity anymore. You're talking about Sir Isaac Newton. And then if you don't agree with that, then he'll ask you to like name the three laws of motion, and it's not a quiz show. It's not a game. This is not like I don't think many people who are good flat Earth researchers ever really get too high on their horse. You know what I mean? I think they're kind of humble because you sort of have to be with this. Um,
With their discoveries, yeah, with whatever they find out, they're quite humble.
right, because nobody's a rock star in this. It's not like a fame-based thing, or it shouldn't be anyhow. Even though I guess there are some people that are pretty flat Earth famous, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm getting a little sick of talking. I guess again. I gotta should probably take a nap soon. It's almost 4 here, so. It was good talking to you, man. I wish I could talk for another like hour with you, man. It's good stuff.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. I've got today is Friday, so uh, it's so ironic that today I gotta go pray.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm gonna end this cast right here. It's a good little 2 hours, and 'cause I need my sleep too, and not gonna be any good. Just leaving this running for 6 hours with nobody on here. We've all got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
Well,
moderator.
And that'll be our first intermission, I guess, and then we'll figure it out after we've had some sleep.
yeah. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for participating so much, I guess. You guys have really had a lot to say the past couple days, or all week, really.
Yeah, we need to rejuvenate.
Yeah, I mean, after you sort of have your like brain dump or whatever. I gotta put more stuff in there to talk about. I gotta fill up. So, yeah. So thank you for everybody too, for everybody who's been just watching and listening and going back and looking at the pre-records already. Not the pre-records, the post-records. And
Yeah, it'll give people a chance to actually look through the other days.
yeah, for sure. And catch up with everything else too. There's other videos out there.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thanks again, and have a good day and weekend. Healthy, and I'm sure I'll probably be talking to you, Snack, later. And well, I'll let you all know when I'm gonna start up the next session. Maybe like 8 o'clock or something like that. How's that sound?
Yeah, I think we can lose a few hours.
Yeah, yeah. I think we had a good little full session here. A little different vibe. A female touch.
That's good. I think this is the most we've talked on any of these hangouts, right?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, aside from my own.
Sorry about that. Hey, did you ban Steven and Leia?
No, just Leah. And I told her I was going to.
For good or what? Or timed out?
All things in my time.
Say again?
All things in my own time.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Steven was trying to coerce me into, and threaten, to get me back on, and yeah, so, no.
Yeah, I saw that.
He screwed up, so, his magic god powers aren't working here. I'll let him reconcile that with his disciples however he needs to, but it's not going to happen by controlling me.
Yeah. Like, he just wanted to do this that way.
I know. But,
he wanted to have a lot of problems and be very, very unsuccessful.
Right. He can have his own hangouts. This isn't the Concave Earth channel. This isn't the Cell Earth, whatever. He's like, well, I'm not coming back. It's like, well, boo-hoo, This isn't your channel. You're not the star. You were a guest. I let him have his platform. He got to talk. And that's it. I don't owe him anything.
Yeah, so we'll do some research. Have something to talk about next show.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
All right, great. Thanks again, guys.
Good night, guys.
All right. Adios.